Welcome back to another episode of the Property Management Success Podcast on the Property Management Aid Station here with Mark Brower. Mark, welcome back. Good to see you again. It's been a minute.
Woohoo!
And it's been exactly a minute, I think.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You're looking good out there. I'm talking directly to the runner that just came into the aid station. Man, you're looking so great. You're doing great. Your hydration looks good. How are you feeling? What did they say back to us?
I'm doing it.
You're doing it. Hey, you know what? Let's pour a little ice water on your head. You know, what else do you need? You need something salty? You good?
I think, what's funny is I used to think when people would line up at the start line of a race that I would be able to pick out who was going to do well and who wasn't. And then I realized that I really can't tell who's got grit and determination and who's going to finish and who's not. And after watching them for a little while, then you start picking up on who has what gear, who's showing up with a bladder full of water when the first aid station is only 6 miles away. And like you can start to kind of gauge maybe who has more experience, but you can't determine who's going to finish by looking at people. You can't determine who's got the grit, the heart, and just that determination of I showed up and I ain't quitting until I'm done.
Stubborn. Man, I remember the very first ultra that I ever ran was a 50-kilometer race in Flagstaff, Arizona. And I remember they launched the 100-milers out first before us. So all the 100-milers went, then 20, 30 minutes later, the 50K people started. This is my first ultra ever. We're going up 7,000 feet elevation. We're running up in the pine trees, and we're going up on the side of this, volcano that's snows on in Flagstaff, the only ski resort up there. Anyway, and I come up on this dude, and he is your quintessential middle-aged beer belly, just like, what is this guy doing? Not the specimen of health that you would think is running a 100-mile race. And I was curious. I was like, hey man, you're doing the 100 miles. He's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, well, rock on, dude. Like, it's fantastic. How did you get into this? And he's like, I'm just really stubborn.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel that in my soul.
You are so stubborn, Tony.
I tell people, I am not fast. I just have learned to suffer really well. I'm just willing to be in the moment and just grit it out and be stubborn until I achieve what I set out to achieve.
Part of your identity. We just in our last episode talked about habits, and if you can connect your habits to your identity, it's a really powerful lever to make sure that you do that thing.
I was thinking about that after that last podcast that we recorded. I was curious, what makes people actually change their identity and what keeps people stuck in the identity that doesn't serve them?
That is fascinating. That is a really fascinating question. Did your brain come up with an answer?
Well, we talked a little bit about last time. We talked about, who you surround yourself with makes a difference. I can't remember when, but me, you, Pablo, we were either having a chat or a conversation. I can't remember. And it was basically, I was thinking back if my mom said, well, Mark, Pablo, and, those guys are going to jump off a bridge. Would you jump off a bridge too? And I'm like,
Probably.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's our people,
It's
right?
probably like a bungee cord attached to us or something.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, it definitely makes a difference of who you surround yourself with, the mentality of the people. Are they growth minded? Are they fixed minded? Having the mindset that this is the worst I'll ever be, and tomorrow I will be better, and the day after that I will be better, or I'm afraid to put myself out there because I reached some level of success and now people see me as achieving that level of success. I can't break that identity. And so it keeps me frozen at this level because if I try to do something new, I'm probably not going to be good at it because I don't have the reps yet. I would have to step out of my comfort zone. I would have to be somebody different to do something different. And it's safer for me to hide behind this identity that's already created. And I think that those are the two directions that people are faced with.
Summarize that with fewer words. Say it again.
Well, you can either be fixed mindset, saying, I've achieved some level of success, and
This is it.
this is it. I'm capped.
Or
And so I don't want to try something more because I will fail. And if I'm failing, then people won't see me as
oh my gosh, that sounds
being good
so
anymore.
so intolerable for me to hear you say those words. Go ahead. What's the next? What's the
Okay.
better one?
Well, you told me to say it with fewer words. I forgot that part.
No. Yeah. No, that was good. That was good. It was
But
just painful to hear again. Go ahead. Second one.
so the other part is I showed up. I stumbled my way to this point. I did enough reps that I was able to get it right, because it's not just the repetitions, but it's the iterations. You know, we're not going to do 20 things poorly in a row. We're going to do 20 and iterate and make each one of the times I do it just a little bit better and a little bit better. And so when I live and try to do something new, I always feel like I'm living with imposter syndrome, because I'm always pushing, how can I do a little bit better? How can I do something I've not done yet? How can I stretch and grow? So that's the growth mindset of, this is the worst I'll ever be
Okay.
today. I may
So
have
that-
worse days because I'm not performing well.
So that's part of your identity.
Yes.
Like, how core to your identity is what you just described?
I think people, there's books out there that talk about those two mindsets, the fixed mindset or the growth mindset. And I think we all have a little bit of a combination. I don't think it's a light switch. I think it's a pendulum.
But
And
for
it depends
you,
on which part of our life we're talking about.
okay, but for you, like, is that deeply part of your identity, this growth mindset?
I think it is. One of the things I learned early on when I was really sick and I didn't know if I was going to make it, and I started getting a little bit better, I started searching for my limits. And the harder I
Wow.
search, the harder they are to find. And it's just become, I know one day I will find it. We got pretty close with the AFib and the cardio version, and maybe having to do the ablation and all of this stuff. But even with that, I'm not ready to say I've peaked yet.
What is that? Like, what are you trying to prove to the world? Is this healthy, Tony? Like, trying to prove something to the world? Why attach your identity to constantly pushing and moving and striving and reaching and daring and dreaming? Why?
I don't know that. That is a really good question. And when I did this presentation a while back, I told people at the end of the presentation, I said, I want to share with you my two biggest fears. My two biggest fears, obviously, after making sure my family's taken care of and that sort of thing. But my two biggest fears is, number one, I will die with unrealized potential, meaning I could have done more. I could have been better. I could have contributed to others more. I could have helped others grow in ways that they needed to grow to be who they could become so that they could have a bigger impact. So the first one is I would die with unrealized potential. And the second one is that I will wake up one day and realize that my best days are behind me.
Mm.
And those two things drive me. I don't know if it's healthy or not healthy, but those two things definitely have become a part of who I am. And the more you try to find your limits, the more you realize you're capable of so much more. And that momentum just continues to carry you forward. And so I'm still on a search to find my limits.
It's a beautiful thing. My biggest fear is that someday I'll stand before God, open my hand up, and there will be only one talent in it. And for anyone listening that's read the parable of the talents in the Bible, you'll know that that was the foolish and slothful servant. And I think there's a deep wound from my childhood. I'm getting way too deep here.
Let's actually share. So this is such an impactful story from the Bible. Share briefly
Briefly, here we
what
go.
this story is.
So the master had 3 servants, and to the first he gave 5 talents, and to the second he gave 3, and to the third he gave 1 talent. And he went away for a season, and he told his servants to, go multiply their talents. And the first one, when the master came back and asked for an accounting, I'm paraphrasing, you guys can correct me if this is wrong. The first one showed 10 talents, and he said, well done. The second one, that was given 3, showed 6 talents. And the final servant came and said, Lord, I know that you are a demanding businessman. and I knew how valuable this talent was to you. So I dug a hole and I buried it and kept it safe. And now here it is. I have it for you. And he said, thou foolish and slothful servant. And he took the one talent from that servant and gave it to he that had produced 10. What is the story here? The story, well, there's a lot of takeaways. But I can tell you for sure, I do not want to be the person who opens his hand with one talent and have to try to spin this story about how you're such an amazing God that I buried what you gave me so I wouldn't lose it. This is the essence of scarcity, fixed mindset versus abundance mindset. We are here on this spinning blue ball, hurtling through space at unbelievable speeds to multiply what we've been given. And I feel a very strong inner desire to do that, and to do that in a way that glorifies God, that plays by the rules, and that creates as much value for other people, because I've found when I do that, I also feel deeply connected to the world around me, to myself and to God, and I feel really good about the work I'm doing. I know that each of us is infinitely and already infinitely valuable, worthy of love and belonging, infinitely worthy of love. I know I don't need to multiply my talents to be worthy of the applause of man or worthy of acceptance. And so in the last year specifically, I've tried to move away from performative self-worth measures. But I still deeply fear standing in front of God someday and not be able to report that I made the very most out of this life. I want to suck all the marrow out of the bones, and I want to create the most good that I can and have the deepest, most satisfying relationships. And I'm not sure that desire is 100% pure and from a good place. I think there's fear there. But that's what I'm trying to shift next, is to move from a fear-based performative self-worth locus of creation to an abundance, charity, full love, already having arrived at infinite worth place of creation. And that's a different topic.
Okay, so what does that look like? So what's the takeaway for our listener for both of the things that we just shared? Because I think what we shared showed a lot of who we are on the inside and what drives us. And I'm sure that there's listeners that either identify with one or both of those identities.
I have a quick thought.
Yep.
Sorry, jump in. I don't want to lose it. I had a call with a life coach today. One of my support group that I've established around me that's helping me in this journey. And I told the life coach that I feel at this point in my life like I'm running towards things that scare me. Like I'm pursuing with enthusiasm, with excitement, the things that scare me. And he said, that's really interesting, Mark. He's reading Mel Robbins' book right now. Maybe it's the book Let Them. And he said, Mel Robbins says that fear and excitement are the same thing on opposite poles. And I don't know why, Tony, but I've never fully been in this place before where I am purposely and enthusiastically moving toward anything that scares the crap out of me. And it is so rewarding. I've never been more willing to make a fool of myself in my life. Were you at the MX Summit? Did you see me out in the rodeo grounds spinning on the bat?
No, I didn't get to see. I heard about it.
So
I didn't get to see it.
It's such a beautiful, liberating place. Once we decide that we're 100% okay being a fool and looking like a fool, then the whole world opens up. Relationships open up, learning opens up, adventure opens up. My son calls this 8-miling yourself. You know the singer rapper Eminem?
Oh yeah. I know where you're leading. I'm just letting you lead it.
What did he do? When he rapped, when he
in
was
the
in
rap
a rap battle, he eviscerated himself to the point of absoluteness. Like there was nothing left that his opponent could say that he hadn't already said about himself. This is the most powerful place I can imagine coming from. The absolute, total, raw, brutal honesty about everything you're ashamed of in your life, spoken from your mouth first. Where else could anybody go? And it's fascinating. I was up in Idaho. I flew up Sunday night. I came back Monday afternoon. Unfortunately, my son tore his labrum at jiu-jitsu. First night he ever went. So sad. He was so excited to go. And he's an amateur bodybuilder. This is a massive setback for this guy. And I went up there to support him. And I had a chance to actually drive back to the airport with one of his roommates who was flying back down to Arizona. And this kid who had just met my son Dane a couple months prior, and I'm gonna get emotional here, said, you know, I really admire your son. He's the most honest person I've ever met. I was like, what? This is like proud papa moment. This is amazing. You know, say more. And he said it's because of you, because you never lied to him growing up. And so what my oldest son does is he almost has no shame, no detectable shame. And he will candidly and frankly and openly share what most people would never share about themselves as a matter-of-fact expression of this is who I am and this is where I'm at. And nobody has any leverage over that position. You can't possibly demean or criticize or manipulate someone that just 8-miled themselves. Rant over. Back to you, Tom.
I feel like you did that in the last episode where you admitted that you were a sock, shoe guy. Like, I mean, come on. Like how much lower can a guy go than being a sock, shoe? It just doesn't make any sense. I believe in that. I believe in what you're saying about accepting who we are. I say that we should accept who we are, and we should be content. One of my biggest mantras when I'm trying to achieve something or I'm trying to become somebody is to be content, but not satisfied. Meaning, and this goes back to the story we talked about last time with Lindsey Vonn. She was content. She's content where she's at. She's content with the effort she put in. She's content with who she became through that journey. I know in her mind, she's not satisfied. I know she's thinking, all I got to do is repair the ACL on his leg, and then I got to go and get the 3 surgeries to repair the broken bone, and I'll be back to achieve more. Maybe not at the Olympics, but she will put herself back out there. And I think that it is be realistic with where you're starting, being content with your progress you've made. That's a lot about the gap in the gain that we've talked about in previous podcasts. But then it's the strive to become more.
Beautifully said. All right, we're going to wrap this one.
All right. Man, that seems short.
It is short. That's okay. I'm the tall one. You're the short one. Sometimes we talk.
That's true. You know, what I say in our coaching business is make things as simple as possible, but no simpler. Meaning if you took something away, you'd break it. But if you added one more thing and it doesn't drastically improve the outcome, don't do it.
Bro, we should talk about Elon Musk's 5-step engineering process. Have we covered this yet?
We did a long time ago.
It is so beautiful.
You want to cover it now or you want to cover it in the next episode?
Next episode. Stay tuned.
Keep them coming back. We didn't come up with our snack yet, right?
Bro, I mean, pickle juice and pickle flavored pretzel sticks might sound nasty to most of our listeners, but that's because you're not on the trail yet. This is mother's milk on the trail. The pickle juice, like I'm telling you, Tony is not leading you astray here. Pickle juice on the trail can hydrate. I don't know. It's just a magic elixir for sure.
Speaking of magical elixirs, I am curious. I have not seen, are we boycotting Liquid Death at this point because they have not sponsored you yet? What is the deal?
Yes. This is like protest behavior. I know I haven't cracked open a Liquid Death for a minute.
It's been a minute.
All right. Let's get that stocked up.
All right. Get on out of here, guys.
All right. You got this. We'll see you at the next aid station. You're doing great. You are doing fantastic. Go run from an abundance of acceptance and love, knowing your infinite worth, and you've already arrived at that place of being deserving of love and belonging. Now,